Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Outside the Playbook. Special thanks to Amanda Watson for sponsoring today's episode. Click the link down below in the description and start your financial planning journey today. In today's episode, I'm going to go back to a video I made a few days ago about Nikola Jokic being in the top 20 all time, all right? At the end of that video, I threw a list together. No research. Tons of bias involved. Not being serious at all. Just threw a little list together, top 20, and you've seen some of the reactions there. So I figured, you know what? Why don't I actually sit down, think about it, put a list together, put them in tiers so everybody can see I'm not actually 100% serious. But make no mistake, Dwayne Wade is top 25 all time, but we'll get to that in a minute. Check this list out. Now, I got all the tiers together. All right, all the tiers are there. Some of the players on the list: Nikola Jokic, Kawhi Leonard, Bob Cousy, David Robinson, Oscar Robinson is down there. Elgin Baylor is on there. Tim Duncan, so on and so forth. So what we're going to do is we're going to work our way backwards and then forwards. All right. So let me check this out real quick. We're going to start with 25. All right. Now, number 25. And he gets a lot of flack for being a loudmouth, saying some things about today's game and how soft they are and all this other stuff. Charles Barkley is one of the greatest power forwards of all time. If you give that man a championship, he's arguably the greatest power forward of all time. And if you think about it, yes, Tim Duncan, 5 rings, so on and so forth. But the man was 6'4", 6'5", had bounce. Get any rebound you want to. I'm pretty sure he has a 40 and 20 game in the playoffs versus either the Spurs or the Warriors, or probably both. Dominant. All right. MVP. Fell short because he was in an era with Hakeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan. I'm not going to penalize him for that, but I will say Charles Barkley is one of the greatest power forwards we've ever seen. So we're going to pay respect to him. All right. So I got Chuck at 25. Now, for number 24, let's see who we got here. 24. I live in Southeast Michigan. Arguably one of the greatest point guards of all time. The only problem he has is he was in the same era as Magic Johnson. Otherwise, he would be the greatest point guard of all time that we compare Steph Curry to. At number 24, I'm going to go with Isaiah Thomas. Now, for number 23, all right, and they made amends. They were inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame together. But as a Miami Heat fan, all right, 2011 still hurts me to my core. I don't like to talk about it. I don't like to acknowledge it. And you know what? There's a Dallas Mavericks Dirk Nowitzki jersey hanging in my son's closet right now. And he's not even allowed to wear it. It's just hanging there just to say he has one. Dirk Nowitzki at number 23. Dirk Nowitzki, again, you could say the same thing that I said about Zeke. If it wasn't for Tim Duncan, he might be in the conversation for the greatest power forward of all time. I got guys like, Kevin Garnett can be in that conversation. That era was crazy. If you think about it, Tim Duncan, Dirk, KG, Chris Webber, Amari Stoudemire, Rasheed Wallace, a ton of power forwards from that era. Absolutely skilled, absolutely dominant. I got Dirk Nowitzki at 23. Number 22. Let's go with Jerry West. Now, a lot of people from this era don't know much about Jerry West. All right, the only thing you probably hear about is how many times he went to the NBA Finals and didn't really win except for one time. He could hoop. All right, had a nice little jumper. He'll give you about 27 easy. easy 27. So that means we're talking 30, 35. Any way you wanted it, he can give it to you. Pause. All right, let's go to number 21. All right, now, in my mind, the third greatest shooting guard of all time, is Dwayne Wade. Offensively and defensively. First player in NBA history with 2,000 points, 500 assists, 100 blocks, 100 steals in an entire season. MVP on his rookie deal in the finals. You've seen the series. Down 0-2, came back to win 4 straight games. You can say whatever you want to. Say, you know, they were giving him fouls. Okay, I'm going to give you some homework. Go back, look at the free throw shooting leaders for the playoffs. Who got the most free throw attempts? I guarantee you it's not Dwayne Wade. Point of irony, it was actually Dirk Nowitzki, his opponent in the NBA Finals. So we got Dwayne Wade at number 21. All right. So 21 through 25, we got Charles Barkley at 25, Zeke at 24, 23, Dirk Nowitzki, 22, Jerry West, 21, we have Dwayne Wade. Now let's start with number 20. All right. Again, a lot of people in this generation probably don't know. If you didn't do your homework, you wouldn't. I've done my homework, but when I was with my grandfather, all right, I'd be, you know, studying Allen Iverson. I'd be studying Tracy McGrady, Kobe Bryant, D Wade, and he'd have me sit down and watch ESPN classics. So anybody from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, I'm watching their games. All right. I'm faux. Number 20, I got Moses Malone. All right, let's check out number 19. Now, we go from one Malone to the next at number 19. I don't think that number's ever been associated with this man, but we'll put Karl Malone at 19. If you don't got it, you'll get it. And if you don't get it after that, just Google it. Number 19, we got Karl Malone. All right, let's look at number 18. If you look up this man's numbers, it doesn't make remote sense. The fact that this dude was what, 6'5", 6'6". I mean, dude, he can get you 15 to 20 rebounds. He was doing Dennis Rodman's work and, you know, a little bit of 20 plus a night. He can give you that. Absolutely all over the basketball court. All right. Him and Oscar Robertson, they're in the same class of player. I got Elgin Baylor at number 18. 17, speak of the devil, I got Oscar Robertson. All right, Oscar Robertson, father of the triple-double. A lot of people from interviews that I've seen, especially in those days, specifically talking about Jerry West. Jerry West said that at the time, before, you know, Michael Jordan and all, Oscar Robertson was the greatest basketball player he'd ever seen. A lot of people attribute that to the Kareem. And, you know, if you look at Kareem's numbers, his accolades, high school, college, NBA, the awards, the championship, people attribute, you know, that era and say, you know what, Kareem was the best of that era. Jerry West said no, that it was actually Oscar Robertson who was the best ball player of all time in his eyes. Again, before Jordan and all, you know, all that came along. Let's talk about number 16. Now, this is where we see, all right, let's start adding in some players from today. There's only select few, very, very select few. To kick that off, I'm going to start with Giannis at number 16. All right. Number 16, I got Giannis Antetokounmpo. 6'11", dominant. He is at 6'11", probably 100 pounds less. I can consider his dominance and, you know, putting up 30 and 12 or 30-12, get you 5 or 6 assists, 1 or 2 blocks, couple steals, dominated the painted area, got a finals MVP, got a championship, and also an MVP and Defensive Player of the Year award in the same season. You got to go with Giannis because he is this era's Shaquille O'Neal, in my opinion. Albeit a young Shaq, still the Shaq of this era, in my opinion. So we got Charles Barkley at 25. Zeke 24, Dirk 23, West 22, D Wade at 21. We got Moses, Malone, and Karl Malone, Elgin Baylor, Oscar Robertson, and then Giannis Antetokounmpo to round out number 16. Let's go to 15, all right? This is a guy that doesn't get any credit or any praise or anything like that for where the game is today as far as athleticism goes, leaping ability. I don't want to, exclude anybody, so I'll put guys like David Thompson in that category as well, as being athletic, high risers, high flyers, can put on a show when they put the ball on the floor. You jump with them, you're going to be on the highlight reel. We got many videos of Dr. J dunking on people, holding the ball out of bounds, going around the rim, laying it up. Everybody talks about the size of his hands and how strong his hands were when he would grab the basketball and dunk on you with one hand. I mean, some of the things he was able to do, and a lot of people don't even know, he had a nice mid-range game. He had a nice handle. He can get to the cup anytime he wants to. Anytime you're in the city of New York and you got people sitting on top of buildings, apartment buildings, just to look down at you playing basketball in a park, and you got the park packed out, you one of them ones. So let's give Dr. J his flowers. Number 15, we got Dr. J. Number 14, all right, this is where the conversation starts to, okay, now, if we want to add some of these players in, what is their resume? 3-time MVP, Finals MVP, champion, 7-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, Nikola Jokic, currently averaging a 30-point triple-double at the center position, leading the league in 3-point shooting percentage and steals. You can't ignore that. Can't ignore that. So we got Nikola Jokic at number 14 ahead of Dr. J. Now let's talk about 13. Who we got? 13. There's always a conversation between Kevin Durant and this player. Scottie Pippen and this LeBron James. Who's the greatest small forward of all time? Okay, obviously we know that it's LeBron James. A lot of people say that it's still this other dude. A lot of people say it's Kevin Durant. On this list, we need to start giving more respect to Larry Bird. Man averaged a double-double in points and rebounds, and he can get you 8 assists, 3 straight MVP victories. Last player in NBA history to do that. And he has championships, 3 of them. I mean, you can't understate the greatness that is Larry Bird, but for some reason, he still gets lost in the shuffle. So, at number 13, I got Larry Bird. Yes, I still have him ahead of Nikola Jokic because as it currently stands, Larry Bird's resume is still better than his. Even with us being able to see what Nikola Jokic is doing right now. Number 12. Where we at? Number 12. See, I think my numbers is off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, there he is. Now, I just mentioned him, okay? Conversation is between LeBron James, Larry Bird. We can add Dr. J in there, obviously, because I have him at 15th. Who's the greatest small forward of all time? I think me, personally, just for me and my list, putting this player where I'm about to put him ends the conversation between these two individuals. Kevin Durant. I have to put him ahead of Larry Bird, okay? Now, everybody's going to bring up, Kevin Durant moving around, switching teams. They're going to make comments as if he was just some hired mercenary for the Golden State Warriors, as if he doesn't have 2 finals MVPs to go along with 2 championships. The greatest scorer we've ever seen. Getting to the basket, he's 7 feet, okay? He can finish around the rim. He has handle to get there like he's a guard. He can shoot from the parking lot, 50, 40, 90 threat. He can get to the free throw line. You want to have him come off screens? He can do that. You want to have him go off pick and pops? He can do that. You want to have him ISO? He can do it. You want to have him shoot from the mid-range, high elbow post? We've seen him do all of these things. There's literally nothing offensively Kevin Durant cannot do, on top of the fact that when he went to Golden State, he was a decent defender in OKC, a decent defender. But when he was in Golden State, the man was extra locked in. Obviously, because you know what? Hey, I came here. I got to get it done, or whatever the case may be. But he was extra locked in on the defensive side of the basketball. So Kevin Durant is a complete player. And we know from his time in Brooklyn that he can facilitate as well when he needs to. So Kevin Durant deserves his flowers. Just did a video talking about Russell Westbrook and how everybody has this idea that you can pick and choose when to give players their flowers, when to demonize another player, simply because you're a fan of said player. Your show is going to get ratings by talking about a great player in a great light and maybe another player in a negative light. I don't care about none of that. Kevin Durant is one of the purest hoopers, greatest hoopers we have ever seen in the history of the game. The man deserves his flowers. Now, let's talk about 11. Okay. Now, in the last video I did, a few things were shuffled. Kevin Durant was in my top 10. I was just joking around, not taking it serious, but we need to start having a conversation about Bill Russell. Okay. Bill Russell is at number 11. Okay. And he's still there. He has 11 championships, dominant rebounder, dominant defensive player, dominant shot blocker. But when you look at his championships, okay, this is not to take anything away. This is just me justifying taking him out of the top 10. All right. I have Bill Russell at 11 because when you look at his championships, you can look at guys who are averaging 26 and 12, 26, 12 and 8, you know, putting up big numbers. And when you look down the list, you know, Bill Russell has a championship, but he averaged, don't take this lightly, okay? But I'm just putting it into context. He averaged 28 rebounds. He only scored 4 points that series. You have another guy averaging 24, 25, 26, 27 points per game in the finals. And he's also chipping in 12 to 13 rebounds and also has 8 or 9 assists. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like the workload wasn't exactly just him carrying everybody. He did his role, but he was just the most dominant we've ever seen in that role. Now, let's talk about the top 10. Okay. This is where people try to convince me for whatever reason. Okay. Whether it's on the television, whether it's in comment sections, you know, that Stephen Curry wouldn't be Stephen Curry if he was in another era. That, you know, Wilt Chamberlain wouldn't be Wilt Chamberlain if he was in today's era. Great players are going to be great players in any era. All right. The era is not the issue. The era is not the issue simply for the fact that these are the greatest players we've ever seen. Their talent, their skill level is going to translate. The only thing they have to do is adapt the game. So Steph Curry, he may not average 30 points and put up what 2,000, 3,000, whatever number he's on right now, 4,000. He's not probably going to put up that many threes, but he probably could get you 25 and 12, something like that, because Isaiah Thomas was putting up 20 and 10. If I think, like I know I am, correct, Steph Curry is better than Isaiah Thomas, then it's not outlandish to believe a true PG like Steph Curry with his skill set and his 50, 40, 90 threat shooting capability that he could put up 25 and 12, 25 and 13, 30 and 12, something like that, and still play within the same style of basketball that they wanted to back then. Steph Curry is a great player. Never doubted that in my mind. But you got to understand that greatness translates through errors. So with all that being said, number 10, we're going with Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain is in my top 10 because everybody wants to talk about the myth of the 100-point game. Okay, you cannot believe it happened. That's up to you. We still have evidence of the dude averaging 50 points a game for a season with 20 rebounds. Come on now. You're going to take away the 100? Fine. We got evidence of him putting up those numbers. Then we also have video footage, turn fades, grabbing the ball off the glass, going full speed down the court, finishing, dishing, doing everything, right? Wilt Chamberlain is a top 10 player of all time just off of resume alone when you look at the numbers he's put up every single night. Now, I did talk about Steph Curry. We don't even have to go further into that. Steph is top 10 all time. Not just because, you know, championships and his shooting and his, 50, 40, 90. The man single-handedly changed the way basketball is played at every single level of basketball. From NBA to college to high school middle school, elementary, to training players on how to play the game, reading, reacting, whether you have the ball or do not have the ball. Steph Curry has completely and utterly changed basketball and the way it's played. No other player can really say they've done that at every single level in the history of basketball. Nobody. So Steph Curry is top 10. Let's go number 8. I do have Akeem Olajuwon. I have Akeem Olajuwon at number 8 because of his dominance on offense and defense. I don't know if there's too many players in NBA history can say, I'm just as dominant. I'm not saying just as good, elite on both sides of the, I'm saying dominant. Control the game. Blocks, rebounds, post you up, take you off the dribble, footwork, the greatest footwork we've ever seen. Okay. And before you say, you know, travel and all this other stuff, and first of all, it's not a travel if you didn't call it. That's what y'all tell me about James Harden, right? It's not a travel if you don't call it. And number 2, Kobe went to him. LeBron went to him. Dwight Howard went to him. Players still work out with him. Amari Stoudemire went to. All of them had success after working out with Akeem Olajuwon. Give him his flowers. I got Akeem number 8. Number 7. I did have him above a certain individual before, but I had to rethink that because when you consider the fall off after he left, okay, his body, not taking care of it, not being in shape and things like that, you got to factor in that, yes, Shaquille O'Neal is arguably the most dominant player in NBA history, but as his career went on, him not taking care of himself, and then you see Kobe thrive even after he was gone and take his career to the next level. You kind of got to switch spots because he was king when Shaq was in LA. He was king after Shaq left LA. Shaq was not the same. Shaq, after he left the Los Angeles Lakers, one season in Miami, he was the guy. After that, it was D-Wade's show and he had to bounce. So I got Shaq at number 7. The most dominant force we've ever seen, in a conversation recently picked up where they say, is Nikola Jokic versus Shaquille O'Neal, how is that matchup going to play out? Very different styles. All right. We know Shaq's weaknesses. We know Nikola Jokic's weaknesses, but we also forget Shaq had nice touch around the rim, good footwork, strong as a bull, and he was intelligent. He knew how to play the game. He knew how to read and react to certain situations, offensively and defensively, reading a double team, getting his guys open. Not only a black hole to drop step and boom on you, drop step, kick it out to my shooter like Rick Fox, Derek Fisher, Robert Horry, Gary Payton. You know, he knew how to play the game. So do not underestimate his IQ. Number 6, okay? This person never gets their flowers. Never gets their flowers. I'm going with Tim Duncan at number 6. All right. Widely considered the greatest power forward of all time. Widely considered. And he was skilled, fundamental, didn't play outside of his game, but defensively he was dominant as well. I'm pretty sure he has 15 all NBA defensive selections, as well as 5 championships, finals MVPs. Him, Ginobili, and Tony Parker combined for a trio have the highest winning percentage in NBA history. I think they have a 50-win season in what? He played 20 years, so I want to say 17 or 18, like a 50-win winning percentage or above every year using a career, except for a handful, like 2 or 3. Dominant. All because of him, all right? All because it revolved around him. He made everybody else better, all right? So we got to go with Tim Duncan at number 6. Now we're going to talk about the top 5, all right? Me personally, I don't have Kobe Bryant in the top 3, okay? Magic Johnson is my favorite player. Not favorite player. Magic Johnson is one of my favorite players of all time. Kareem and Bron and Michael Jordan have great resumes. When you look at Kobe's, thrust into that, 1, 2, or 3 spot, he doesn't quite have the same resume as everybody else, doesn't quite have the records or anything like that. And then you also got to factor in Magic Johnson has the same amount of championships, and he also has, the same conversation. He had Kareem was done. He's still winning. Kobe had Shaq Shaq was done. He's still winning. So you can go either way. All right. You can have Kobe at 4. You can have Kobe at 5. I have him at 5 in this conversation. At number 4, I got Magic Johnson. Okay. Like I said, same amount of championships as Kobe. I think he's the greatest point guard of all time, 19 and 12. Once you start getting closer to number 1, it becomes a preference thing. You're going to start to see that. Some people have Kobe at number 3. Some people have Kobe outside of the top 5. I have Magic Johnson at number 4 because I don't think he gets his flowers. Court vision, can get to the cup, he can score the basketball, but his thing, the thing that he loved the most was putting on a show. And in my opinion, he's one of the greatest showmen to ever play the game. All right. Give Magic Johnson his flowers. And this right now, this is a pick 'em. Okay. I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, going from high school to college to the NBA, championships after championships, rule changes because they couldn't stop him. Arguably the greatest resume ever. Okay. Arguably the greatest resume of all time. There's no debate about that. The man had 38,000 points and he had one go-to move. That wasn't the only move in his arsenal, but to kill you with a sky hook for basically about 20,000, 25,000 points, that is insane to even think about. The man was 40 and he was still doing it at a high level. Not even debatable, okay? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, number 3 all time. This is where the conversation is going to take a turn. Somebody's going to hate me in these comments, no matter which side I pick. Somebody's going to have a problem with this, and I don't care, because guess what? Being second all time out of the thousands of players to ever play the game is not a bad look. It's not. And you know what? Despite what people may think, I enjoy watching this player play the game at the level he's playing with right now. LeBron James, second player all time. And you already know who the GOAT is. You already know who I'm going to say is the GOAT, okay? Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Now, to recap my top 25. At number 25, we got Charles Barkley. 24, we got Zeke. 23, we got Dirk. 22, we got West. 21, D Wade. At 20, Moses. At 19, Karl Malone. At 18, Elgin Baylor. At 17, Oscar Robinson. At 16, Giannis. At 15, Dr. J. 14, Joker. 13, Bird. 12, KD. 11, Russell. 10, Wilt. 9, Steph. 8, Hakeem. 7, Shaq. 6, Duncan. Kobe at 5. Magic at 4. Kareem at 3. Bron at 2. Jordan at 1. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments, do you agree with this top 25 list? If not, drop your own and let me know what you think about it. That's one more for the good guys.